never stand up. My tocos and usos, tanganes, don't you know that it is time to man up? Because we all got our fan clubs, parents and families, but you're too busy trying to be the man. I believe that we are full of peace and love, but we're too busy trying to get our peace and be loved by a society that fools us into thinking notoriety is more important than behaving with propriety. That's what my mama told me, but I was young and dumb and I was always naughty. But you know now I see it clearer with these eyes and no surprise that what my mama said was all true, no lie. So now I'm gonna take hold of this chance I've been given to spread love, not hate in this life that we're living. To only educate and persuade my fellow colleagues to maintain, never fold, never back down and never give in. So now I'm gonna take hold of this chance I've been given to spread love, not hate in this life that we're living. To only educate and persuade my fellow colleagues to maintain, never fold, never back down and never give in. Never fold, so
Mama, I'm never gonna let you down.
never ever.
Mama, I'm always gonna make you proud. I'm always gonna make you proud. Always gonna make you proud. Everybody set the table, 'cause you know it's that time. It's that time. It's that time.
Everybody get a plate, eat your problems away, 'cause at the end of the day,
Master feed with my peeps, that's my cousins, brother and my sister, uncles and my aunties, mom and dad, nana and pana, we never punked you. Neighbors thinking, oh, they must be celebrating something. Man, this is a every single week family function, the safest place where all your relatives will try and punk you. Laugh, love, cry and eat together, ain't no frontin'. Light lunch is nothing, we call this a gongati. So let me start you on something called fa'ali for fa'i. Boiled green bananas, coconut cream is what we munchin'. Got that corned beef front lock, that's up a suey on top and a family bucket of KFC if we lucky. Trust me, Mama, I'm never gonna let you down. I'm never gonna let you down. Mama, I'm always gonna make you proud. I'm always gonna make you proud. I'm always gonna make you proud.
They say if you raise a child right, he won't depart.
But what happens when right and wrong gets distorted from the start?
What happens when you're told to be strong and keep it in?
Like a parasite eating at you from within.
And it's hard to change when you're from a small island nation
With small-minded notions,
where feelings go unspoken.
I guess you could say I'm just another coconut.
I'm brown and I'm hairy and it takes a lot for me to open up.
Hey, this could be the one to make you sip. This could be the one to shake your hips. Unity shouldn't be no hope for wishing, but it's our mission to ensure that we spread love with no competition. While everybody wondering about the ups they beat.
Welcome. Talofa, everyone. I am the host of Budah's Lounge, Big Budah. I've been part of the Utah media landscape for the last 20-something years. And sitting to my left are guests for Budah's Lounge tonight. I know them very well. We go way back. They have a lot of skeletons, too, about me. So I got to be very, very nice to them. We'll introduce them here shortly. Wanted to say thank you to Honolulu Grill and their sponsorship of Kava Aid. The QR code is right over here. If you use the code word Budah, you get 10% off your Kava Aid. That's the Kava where you don't need any chasers, okay? Don't explain your life. I will never drink Kava in the class. That's why I didn't bring any here, because I didn't want to confuse the kids. They're like, wait, we can drink Kava at school? No, you can't drink Kava at school. So thank you. Welcome in. My guests to my left, they have been part of my academic life. Everything, I will say this with all honesty, everything that I know and I was able to receive to get my degree up at the University of Utah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without Richard and Anapisi. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Richard Wolfgram and Anapisi Kaili. Please give it up. Thank you. Welcome into the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have to bow down because I learned everything. You guys are continuing to be educators. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you guys have busy schedules. I want to say I am so proud as I walked in, and Man, I wanted...
No tears.
No,
tears,
it's
Budah.
not the tears. It's because I had this proud moment. Richard, if we walked in and you were saying, we got Martin Luther King Jr., where's Anapisi? Anapisi's in the back. Cindy was like, my gosh, this is a big school. It hit me. It is a huge school. This is not the elementary school that I came to many years ago. You guys have grown by leaps and bounds. All of that, I just wanted to say, from all of the parents and everyone who's had their kid come through Mana and feel like they belong because of you and your staff, thank you. Faftai, Malo. Our generations of our children are far better off because of it. I hope I've done you guys justice. Mana Academy, I want to stop, both of you, either one of you guys can answer. How did you guys get into education, and why do you continue to do it even though they don't pay you a lot of money? I know, it's crazy. Why do y'all keep doing this?
It's a great question. We'll start with Richard.
See, when you have the power, you can delegate.
We'll delegate to
learn,
Richard here.
learn.
She's my boss, so I will have to take on that calling. You know what? Education has always been a part of my life because my parents were both school teachers. That's what they went to school for, and they actually came here on scholarship from Tonga. And a part of that scholarship for anyone who comes through the LDS Church and go to BYU Hawaii, they actually have to return to Tonga and do service, through teaching. So when my parents were done with their program, they moved back to Tonga and took all of us back to Tonga with them, and they worked in the church education system. So it's always been around me, but I've never wanted to do it as a profession. This opportunity just came up, and Anapesi and I, we looked at it, and we felt like this was a really great opportunity for our community, because we've always been, we're related. So aside from being related, but we've always been involved in community activism ever since we were very, very young. And we did a lot of work with our aunties at the National Tongan American Society. That's really what ingrained, that love for service. And we felt like this was, Anapesi was, I'll let her speak for herself, but she was already doing a lot of research and education, specifically with our community. So it's just bringing that desire, this opportunity that, fell in our lap to open this school, and then the research that she's been doing. We just felt like this was a great chance to do this. And then we were both heavily involved in our own professions, and we left our professions to get this school started.
And the reason why I bring that up is because I'm sure there are people, and when you guys started this, like, well, what's wrong with the schools that are here now? What's wrong with that school? I don't know if they understood what you guys were saying, right? They may have heard what you were saying, but I don't know if they understood it. Maybe now, years later, they finally, that's what you guys were trying to do? I didn't understand that in the beginning. I would like to ask, how do you not get deterred by your colleagues who have been in that space, right? It almost sounded like, don't do it. You don't need to do it. Let's just go over here. Let's build something else. But you guys saw something that needed to be done and said, you know what? We got to make sure that Mana Academy gets established and that there is a home for the Polynesian student. I love my non-poly colleagues, but I cannot let them deter me from this.
Yeah. And so for me, I was at the University of Utah for 8 years, teaching out there, and one of the things that really surprised me is that the students who did get up there, the retention was really low. So they were there for maybe a year, maybe one semester, maybe two, and then we saw a lot of them leave, but they were very brilliant students. And so I was trying to understand what was going on, what was happening. And so when I started doing research and really looking more into it, one of the things that I found is that we had this 80% graduation rate of students who were graduating, and only 8% of them was going into college. And then from the 8% that were going into college, only a very few were even making it through. So, so being in college and teaching students that were already there, one of the things that I really wanted to see was, could we impact this change at the very beginning? And so that really then led me to look at what happens in elementary, what happens in kindergarten, what happens in preschool. And that's kind of what led me down this path, is really looking at can we change it early so that when they do get to college and help them to make it to college, that they actually stay there. And I think we're still in that journey and we're still in that process, and we're finding out different things about what it takes to do that, but we're also looking at how the structures of education has hindered our community from that, and then also some things that our community is still struggling with. So there's a lot of these different things that come up, and I think what we decided to do was, because I was talking to a lot of community members about this is what we need to do. We need to go to college, we need to do this. And I think what I wanted to see was let's look at it from the very beginning, where your actual journey of education starts. So of course it starts in the home, but once you leave from the home, you start in kindergarten, you get into school, so much of your life is spent in school. So I wanted to see what we can do to actually impact that, and that's how Mana Academy came about.
I love the story. Thank you so much for sharing the origin story, Richard Anapesi. Here's the thing that automatically comes to my thought process as you're building this school and getting the community involved. The parents see it as an opportunity to say, I want to vibe with them and I want to build together? Or was it a lot of, okay, now I can just drop them off now and I'm going to go work? And because we are in America and we got to pay bills. I don't know if that happened, but that's a common problem that every culture experiences. Are we still in that phase as well with parents? Do we still need to work on that part? Where are we at?
I think we have both. So we have the parents who are very involved. We have a program here where we do home visits. So we try to connect that gap between the school and the parents. So we have parents that are very involved. We have parents that are skeptical about what's going on in that school.
I didn't want to say it. Yeah, I was
They're
wondering.
very skeptical,
Yes.
why are you guys, do you guys just sing and dance all day? Like, what do you do over
I'll
there?
say it to someone. Oh, sorry. That's just my own dad. Sorry.
And then we have some parents who are like, great, how long are you open? Until 5:30? Okay, here are the kids. Keep them there. And so I think we still have a mix, but we do see growth and we do see a lot of progress happening, with our community, which has been really great. But yes, we're still at different levels of where we're
Richard,
moving to.
I want to accentuate this point that Anapesi's talking about. We're sitting at a bus stop. I'm a non-Polynesian. You're wearing a shirt that says Mana Academy, and I say to you, pretty cool. What kind of dances do y'all do over there? How do you handle that?
We get that a lot. We actually get a lot of requests, like we get phone calls, emails, because there's this misconception that we have this performing, troupe that we go out there and we do luau's and things like that. And I think back to the quote from Haunani K. Trask that our culture cannot be ornamental, and here at Mana Academy, when we are talking about cultural-based education, everything that we do here that is tied to the different cultural offerings that we have for our students, it's all with intent, it's purposeful. We include a lot of the history, a lot of the values that are embedded in some of the numbers that we teach our students. So I'll give you a good example. When we hosted the former head of state of Samoa here, and I just want to put that out there because he did choose to come to our school and visit us, but it was such a beautiful visit for our kids because they have been learning about the Mau movement. Okay, so every grade had been learning about it, had been learning about what it means to to stand for something, and especially when it's tied to freedom and liberation. Yeah. And, for the people who are not familiar with the Mau movement, that was Samoa's own fight to, to get away from colonialism. And Samoa was colonized by many different powers. That's something that we're currently learning about in my Pacific Island Studies class. But the values that teaching our kids about liberation and about freedom, and overall what what undergirds all that, and really it's love, it's alofa, it's love for your people, and so you teach that to the kids and they understand it on a whole different level. So it's more than just what's up here, it's in the heart. And for some of these kids, it's their blood, And so when Tamasese was here, he was so impressed with the students and what they were able to give back to him. And he asked to kiss all of them. And they all lined up. He wanted to, I don't know what the Samoan word is for it, but he wanted to feilaki with every student who came here for him. And that was such a beautiful thing. And those are the kind of unique things that happen here at Mana Academy that does not happen anywhere else in the continental United States. This happens regularly in Hawaii, and this is something that
because that's Hawaii.
Because that's Hawaii, and that's their home base, and that's their land base.
Yeah.
And we visited a lot of schools in Hawaii, and we have a lot of partnerships with schools and with people in education in Hawaii. And those are the things we wanted to bring here and to create this space of belonging, because that's really what our cultural program is about.
I'm just, my mind just opened up as you're talking, and I feel this ofa, this mafana that is spilling out of you, Richard. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a great, I'm now understanding, if I'm a young Polynesian male or female and I have no idea what my identity is in America, I have a place I can come. I have a place I can go to and ask an auntie, ask an uncle, ask a fahu, what I'm Tongan. Tell me about my Tongan culture. Now tell me how I can apply it to U.S. living, because I'm living in the main states, right? You're giving us hope. I'm not one of those parents that said, what is going on with the culture? I really, because I lived in Samoa, I am more on the side of how do I make it work for my kid? Yeah. So to that point, thank you so much for opening our eyes and doing this. Let's take a break, because I want to play a song. I want to talk to these guys a little bit. What I want to tackle, we're going to give them some time to think. I want to ask about people who say we should take the culture out of the school. It might maukai me. You're wasting the time. Let's go to the SAT and the PET and the FAT. Let's go to those things. So I want you guys to think about that. How do we tackle that? How do we make them understand that this is still important? All right? So we'll play a song. Coming back.
It's nice that you got me, glad to have you on my side. My enemies can't trade on the weak. Girl, I'm so ready to go through long hot tide. Glad to have you on my side. Girl, can you come to where I stay and send you my pin? Valley West of Salt Lake, yeah. Let me know if you gon' make it. Catch me anytime if you need to catch a break. I love that it ain't vital for us to have a title. Keeps us on a high note. The opposite of viral. I pose a slow night ride on the high road. Dark hair really complements your skin tone. I admit I got a weakness for a thick bone. Hard to find the kind to keep it simple. How we getting, how we out the window? You leave me to my business and don't fight that. Fellas like your pics put you on right back. I'm a dirty dog, you a tight cat. You take me as I am, I like that. Baby, you my dub even when I lose. When the road is rough, you my 10 and 2. You never fail to come through. Now come through. Glad to have you on my side. It's nice that you got me. Glad to have you on my side. My enemies can't trade on the weak. Girl, I'm so ready to go through long hot tide. Glad to have you on my side. Yeah, I'm blowing up. She see I'm blowing up. But that don't make her worried about showing up. Baby like that I be chasing down bags. While she got on my jersey, that's a Utah Jazz. I like scheming how we gon' get at it with no trick plays. Like Stockton to Malone for the fadeaway. Kings of the pick and roll back in 98. Catch us staring at the paint like it's 98. Girl, I know you're the one I want wherever I go. And it's a doggone shame that you got her by lame. I guess that's what I'm here for. But I'll do anything for ya. Call me a frontline soldier. Girl, I thought I done told ya. I'll show you a good time, cause you help my shine, yeah. Baby, you my dub, even when I lose. When the road is rough, you my 10 and 2. You never fail to come through. Now come through. Glad to have you on my side. It's nice that you got me. Glad to have you on my side. My enemies can't tread on the weak. Girl, I'm so ready to go.
Talifa, welcome back into Budah's Lounge, hanging out with us. We are live from Mana Academy with Anapesi and Richard. We gave them some time to think about the question. We're talking about the plight of the Polynesian student. I wanted to ask about, because I'm thinking to myself, right? I'm taking myself back to when I was a young father. Wait, there's a school for Polynesians? Wait, they'll understand my language? Wait, they'll get me? I don't have to explain nothing? What time y'all open? What time do y'all get closed? Let me just drop off my kids. Is that happening? Did that happen? And how hard was it to trying to get parents on board to understand that they still have a job to do at home as the original teachers?
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely is. There's some parents that think that way, but I think that a lot of our parents know that they have a part to play. I think what I have found is that a lot of the parents are just not sure what that looks like. They know they want to support their kids. They know they want their kids to do well. They're just not sure, like, well, what exactly do I need to do in order to make that process happen? And so we try really hard to work closely with them so that they understand, what their role is and what they need to do. And we always have those parents that are like, that's your job. My job is to drop off my kid here. And that's your job is to educate, and my job is to bring them to school.
Wow.
And so there's, so we have like a mix of, I think just like any school, like you have your parents that are super committed, and then you have the ones that are
I'm glad you said like
sure.
any school, like any other school. Is there a misconception that you guys have your own rules that, okay, say, look, there's a lot of high schools around here. I'm not going to say any names, but they do recruit football players from outside of the state, sometimes outside of the country. Do you guys recruit students for your student body? Is there any recruiting? Is there any scholarship going? I don't know.
No, because you have to be set up as a school to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
and so we're just maybe just going back to explain what kind of a school we are. We're a public charter school. So we do have a charter that governs and it really what allows us to run a cultural-based program. Yeah, so, but we're not set up like a private school where we can recruit, students from overseas. If somebody comes from overseas, they just enroll as a regular student.
They come on their own. It's not like
they come
you're
on their
asking
own,
them.
and they're already living with
Yeah.
a family that's already here.
Yeah.
We do know that there are some schools who recruit athletes and stuff like that, but our model, we're very similar to just a public school.
Yeah.
Except we're chartered.
No, let me ask you about sports really quick, since we're here and people might not understand this. So you have students here, but you don't have any athletic programs. So do they play at their, I guess what they would call home schools, right? Their home area? If they had a school like that?
Yeah.
If they're on a team?
Yeah, if they would like to play
Awesome.
any sport that's offered in their home school, they're able to play there, but they can do all of their academics here.
See, you know what? I think I would have rather liked that. I'm thinking about it because then I could have gone away from my dad, who's a coach. Also, at the same time, as the principal.
I sense some trauma there,
No,
unresolved trauma.
What do you mean? I'm in America. I'm working it all out. Hey, speaking of trauma, let me ask you about that. Because we have a lot of Pacific Islander students, and I'm just speaking of my own experience. Do you guys have a specialized program where every child is different? I feel like where the Polynesian student is handled, their problems are therapists. Maybe you have a different group of therapists that will address the Pacific Islander problem the way we see it, as opposed to mainstream America.
Yeah, so we do work with different partnerships of different organizations that work specifically with our community. So here at Mana, like 80% of the students are Pacific Islander. The other percentage is mostly Latino and a mix of other cultures.
Yeah.
So we don't just have Pacific Islanders here at the school, we have a mix of all different cultures. And so we partner up with different organizations who provide those kinds of support,
yeah.
especially in those languages. And so they're able to work with the students because there are a lot of challenges that our young people are going through. And so we do have a lot of our students who are working with different therapists and who understand their culture and understand their community.
Speaking of culture, I would like to pivot at this point because I think this is I think if I don't know anything about Mana Academy and I'm listening to our conversation, I might be on the other side saying, okay, so I need to understand now how can the culture benefit the student? So if you two wouldn't mind, please I want you guys to talk about that. Because there are people out there who say, you should take culture out of academia. You should take it. It doesn't do anything. I'm on the side where I believe that what you guys y'all are doing the Lord's work. That's what I truly believe. And I do believe that you have to have culture in it for the child to have a well-rounded experience. Whatever the culture is, they have to have some culture. Would you guys mind please talking a little bit at length as educators how you see that piece of the puzzle fit and how it has been working for your students? You have proof, you have numbers that it has been working.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we have to understand is there is no school that's cultural neutral.
Yeah.
Every single school practices a certain kind of
Yes.
culture, right? And so we're just very intentional and very open about that.
Yeah.
This is the culture that we practice here. But if you look at every other school, it's modeled after a specific culture, whether, that's the culture that we've grown up around,
Prom,
the predominant white culture
football,
that we're around.
right, those kinds of, okay,
So
I got
it's
you.
like, so there is no school that is cultural neutral. Every school practices and every school upholds a culture.
Yeah.
We have chosen that the culture that we uphold here is one that is based on founded and kind of like the foundation is Pacific Islander and Latino and like different other cultures, right? And we don't make excuses about it. We don't try to hide it. And I think that a lot of people aren't aware of that because it's so out there that in other schools, they don't talk about it like that. They just say that this is our school culture. Your school culture is built on a culture of understanding that everybody understands the norms of those schools.
And usually those groups are more of a, how do I say this nicely? For example, there is a group in some of the high schools called Latinos in Action.
Yeah.
I only see that group when, hey, we need, bring them over here. Let's show people that we have a group, that we have culture in our school. It's almost like we got to show them we have culture.
Yeah.
So let's have this group, whereas you're living and breathing the culture every day here, which is part of them anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I'm understanding.
Yes.
That's incredible.
And so I think that that's a really important thing because a lot of people think that, oh, I go to this school, there's no culture practice there. There is. If you look at the norms of the school, if you look at the language that's used, if you look at what they value, that's a culture. And that culture is modeled after something else.
Yeah.
So we just chose to say, this is the culture that we practice. This is what it's modeled after. These are the values that we have. And those values emanate from the Pacific Islander culture and Latinx culture. And so we're
instead of
just very
sororities, right? Instead of those kinds of things, the school and your board decided, let's dive into our culture that we know. I love it.
And I think it's important for us to understand that our contribution to this society, we already bring with us and is within us. And that's what we're trying to help the kids to understand, that everything you need for you to survive, whether it's mentally, socially, emotionally, is in you. Our job is to unlock that.
Let's go.
And
Let's go.
That's what we do here, is to try to unlock that for them. But and like Richard said, a public charter school is required to fulfill every requirement that any public school is required. The
You guys don't get passes just because you got a bunch of brown
so we all
kids.
have to take the
Yeah.
state test. We all have to do the ACT. We all have to do like every single thing. We have to follow all of the requirements that's for any other school. Attendance when it comes to
Jeez.
policies, safety policies, like everything is exactly
Fire
the
drills?
same. Fire drills.
All of that.
All of that. The only difference in a charter school is that we get to propose a focus that we can have that may be different from other schools, right? So there are performing arts charter schools. There are some that are just focused on sports. There are some that are focused on other things. We have chosen that our focus is culture-based.
I love it. I don't know if the as they say in Samoa, it should be clear now as to what you guys do here, and I'm grateful. As a Samoan man who has half Samoan kids, I'm grateful that there is a place that maybe one day my grandkids can come and learn of their culture without having to fly all the way back to Tonga and Samoa. Thank you for being stewards of our culture and making sure that it's instilled into our kids. We're gonna play one more song. We'll take one more break. When we come back, I'm gonna ask about how we can bridge the gap even better between home and school. And do we spank? Where do we stand as far as spanking? Open hand, closed hand, and do you turn off all the lights? Anyway, we'll be back.
All I want to do is wrap my arms around you, show you that I want you, and to show you you're the one. Please don't hesitate. Know that I got you. Come a little closer, baby. You're my number one. You see, your loving is all that I need. Yeah. You got every little thing that I want. Ooh, baby, baby. 'Cause I'm ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. Ooh, baby, baby. 'Cause I'm ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. Alright. Is there something that you want within the next 5 years? Is it us? I wanna know, I wanna know. Let me know if you're down for the ride. Bumpy roads and the obstacles of life. Everything will be just fine. Alright. All that you are is the world to me. Yes, it is. More than enough, you will always be. Oh, boy. Ooh, baby, baby. 'Cause I'm ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. Ooh, baby, baby, yeah. 'Cause I'm ready. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready, yeah. Oh, you.
Welcome back to Budah's Lounge. Throw your T's up, throw your S's. It's time to welcome in the headmaster. And are you the co-headmaster? Can I call you the co-headmaster, Richard?
I am the assistant to the director.
Away, assistant to the director. Yes.
Headmaster works too.
It is a full-fledged school, just like any other school, except we use lots of vowels in our names. Mana Heritage Academy. Don't laugh, Richard. But I look around, I feel nothing but pride. I feel nothing but comfort. I'm so glad that the young Polynesians here in Utah have a place where they can call their home and come learn about their culture. I wanted to ask in the last part of our conversation here on Everyday People in Budah's Lounge, how do you guys bridge the gap? Because parents are still working, right? We still have parents that have to have jobs, and so maybe a school like this for me as a parent, I can just drop them off, right? They got good teachers, they got good staff. I'm sure they'll be okay. And I'm not trying to throw shade on any parents to have that, because we all have to pay bills. There's still a little bit of responsibility that has to be placed on the parents because they're the original teachers. Are there any programs here at the school that can help parents who are struggling like that, so they don't feel like they have to just drop their kids off? They have some kind of help. Are there programs out there that maybe they're not aware of?
Do you want me to take that one, Richard? That's one of the things that we are really looking at in for the next couple of years. Yeah, is really try to find out from parents what is the challenge that you're facing and how can we support it. So as of right now, they work really closely with the teachers. The teachers reach out to them, help them to understand what the kids are going through or what the kids need support with. But I think recently one of the things that we have seen is really trying to help the parents understand the process that the students are going through. We have a lot of students here. So since, was it 2015, Richard, that we started?
This
campus. So
campus.
we've always had 100% graduation, ever since we opened. 100% graduation rate, 100% college acceptance rate.
100%? That's what I'm talking about. You talk about numbers, those are numbers. Let's go.
And so in the last 3 years, all of our students that have graduated from here have received full ride scholarships to all of the schools they've applied to. And so one of the things that we're working through is just helping the parents understand that transition from high school to college. You know, it's a different one. And parents have also, you know, they work really closely with our college access advisor, who's really awesome in helping them to fill out FAFSA forms, you know, financial aid, scholarships, like everything. So we do a lot in that particular area, but we're looking in the next couple years to create more programming that's focused on the parents, because a lot of our programming is really focused on the students.
Is it oversimplified to say to the parents, we need you to increase your involvement? I don't know if there is involvement or not involvement, but maybe just saying we could use you more. Is that something?
So one of the things that we find here is that when it comes to involvement, when we have anything that we do here at the school, for example, parent-teacher conference here is always 90%, 100% parents show up.
Wow.
All the time, okay?
That's impressive.
So, yeah, so the parents show up to these things. They show up to any kind of event that we have. They come to it. And I think what we would like to see is, so there is that involvement that the parents do, and they've always done that from the very beginning, and we're really grateful for that. I think the involvement that we're trying to look at now is how do you work with your student at home, you know, and how do you support them in their reading? How do you support them in their writing? How do you support them in math, you know, and how can you do some of those things at home? And I think that that's a different kind of involvement, you know, but when it comes to parents showing up, parents supporting their kids, we have never had an issue with that. The parents always come. If we call them and ask them to come to anything, you know, the parents at Mana are, I would say, are some of the best and most involved in that way. I think as we are progressing and as we're moving forward, what we'd like to see now is the increase in involvement when it comes to some of these academic subjects, you know, and then also involvement when it comes to mental health, you know, and conversations around that with students, with their kids. And I think that that's just part of our progress as a community. And so we'd like to see more programming in that area, and that's what we're currently working on now.
My mom and dad have often said this, and I know growing up, they were teachers as well, and so I have nothing but mad respect for anyone who's a teacher, anybody who works in a school system. But they would say the only true measure of a teacher can be found in their students. I mean, you can ask me about my accolades and my test scores and all that. It's not. You got to see it in the students, right? Yeah. So when I started working in TV news, I wanted to do something in Cool School. That's how Cool School of the Week was born, and I bring this up because, again, as you see them sitting here, this is not where it's at. You got to come and see it in the school, in the eyes of the students. That's where you know how well that's how you know the kind of work that they've done. 100% graduation. Again, I think about my parents and how much love they've had for the kids. I don't know how you guys can stay here just dry-eyed when all the lives you have touched over the years. They've gone on and become productive citizens. I don't know if you guys get the flowers you're supposed to get. It's a thankless job many times to just be a teacher, but to be a teacher at a Polynesian school, I'm telling you, it's just like being in a Samoan ward or a Tongan ward. You already know what I'm talking about. Yep, a lot of chiefs. So I just wanted to say thank you for being brave, taking on this challenge of educating our children, because, you know, everybody is a chief. Everybody has an idea of how to do your school instead of allowing you to do your own school. So thank you so much for being brave. In closing, I want to ask both of you, Richard and Anapisi, what does your legacy look like? If you could hang your hat on a legacy, what does your legacy look like? We'll take a break, and then we'll have you guys come back and answer that. I'm waiting for my engineer. She's writing something on the board. Oh, we're fine? Okay. Sorry. We'll play one more song. I'll let you guys think about what your legacy is going to look like, and then we'll answer that when we come back. We'll wrap up and give you information how you can sign your students up, how you can get more involved with Mana. Don't go anywhere.
Let me see if we still got this, fellas. Seen a lot of rainy days. I've seen a share of cloudy skies. We even broken up a time or two. Yeah, that's what lovers do. I don't wanna argue now. I just wanna love you down. Sweetie, you know I give in to you. Yes, I do, baby. Don't have to say you're beautiful. You've got plenty of guys to say those words for you. And I don't have to say you stole my heart. All it takes is a word and lose control for you. Cause even though I know you're not my girlfriend, cause baby, I swear that I love you, baby, I do. Yeah. I know you're not my girlfriend, cause baby, I swear that I love you, baby, I do. And girl, you look so good with your fairy eyes, baby. Red dot, I be looking in your eyes, and it drives me delirious. Ooh, I don't wanna argue now. I just wanna love you down, girl. You know I give it to do. That's what love. And I don't have to say you stole my heart, baby. You stole my heart. Cause anything I ever feel again, anything you want, yeah. Right from the very start, baby, you were right from the start. The place I belong is next to you. The place I belong, baby. I know you're my girlfriend, cause I swear
Talofa, and welcome back to our last part of Budah's Lounge. We've been so lucky to have Anapesi and Richard join us from the Mana Academy, and we last left them to contemplate their legacy. What does it look like? What does a legacy? Is it your name on the side of a building? Is it skywriting Richard Wolfgram in the sky? Hollywood Walk of Fame? Richard, what does your legacy look like as an educator, as a co-founder for Mana Academy?
That would be so great. You know, no, I'm just kidding. You know what? I honestly don't care for a legacy. I'll be very honest with you. I've never been that kind of a person. I think anybody that knows me knows that I'm I work quietly behind the scenes because that's how I get work done effectively, you know, and I'm all about working effectively and getting maximum output, you know. And so it's never been an ego thing for me, and it's never been a thing, you know, that is about me and what my needs are. I think for me, a legacy would look like, you know, a student who graduates from here and is very successful in whatever it is they decide to do. And if they go on to be millionaires, that would be great, and come back with that money and, you know, help to build a school and invest, you know, in what they've learned from here. I mean, to me, I think that's the biggest, you know, sign of success to me is to see the students who come through here apply all the things that we've been teaching them, and they go out and they're very successful people, also very community minded, because I think some of us, we become successful and we forget where we come from, you know. And for our students, we always want to ground, we're very intentional about grounding them in where they come from and community, you know. So to me, that would be the best legacy.
Okay. Let's see, given some thought, what would your legacy be?
So mine is very similar to Richard. I think that the legacy for me is really being able to see our students and them going out and being very successful. And I think that for me, for people to be able to identify that those are students who came out of that school, who were mentored in that way, to me is the most important, you know, and just being able to see their lives change. You can ask any student, I am super strict, very strict. My expectations of them are very, very high.
I think some comments came on, they're like, look at them trying to act all nice and stuff.
Yeah.
They're not yelling? Yeah. Wow, that's a side of them we never seen.
Ask any student, they will tell you my expectations for them are very high. I'm very strict on what they do. Sometimes the students are like, I don't want to go to college. And so I'm like, I don't care. You're going to go take these classes right now. You know, and just kind of like helping them to understand that it's so important for you to be able to have options. What you do after here, whether you decide to continue to college, you decide to go on a mission, you decide to get married, you decide to do, yeah, it's just, having those options is what's so very important. And that's really what we want them to know and want them to understand is that, you know, you have a short time. High school seems like a long time, but it's really not. It's a very short time in your life. And then you have your whole life ahead of you. And if we do our job right in K-12, you're going to have a great life regardless of which path you choose. You know, at some point you're gonna get to what you truly are meant to do. And I am a strong believer that that comes from understanding who you are and where you come from and what your contribution is to this society. Which
sounds like exactly what you guys are doing here at Mana. You're just helping unlock the potential for these young Polynesians. I wanted to ask the both of you if you could please think about now knowing what you know now, in present day, what would you say to 18-year-old Richard? What would you say to 18-year-old Anapesi to instill that they stay on this path to ensure they get to this point? What's something you would say to 18-year-old Richard, and what's something you would say to 18-year-old Anapesi?
That's a great question. So I'm going to defer to Richard.
18-year-old me. You know what? 18-year-old me was a very angry youth. I would say, yeah. And I really just felt deprived of a lot of opportunities that I felt I deserved, but I didn't get them because of just, you know, my life situation and just things that made it really difficult for 18-year-old me. Yeah, and honestly, 18-year-old me, I I'm surprised that I'm still alive today.
Oh, wait.
You know, Cindy knows. Cindy knows 18-year-old me. But, you know, and there are times when you're that age where you really don't, you know, you don't see a future for yourself, yeah? I think what really helped me is that there were some caring people in my life, you know? People who really, because I knew they cared for me, I knew that it was worth for me to continue and pursue whatever it is that that is waiting for me, you know? And so for me, it took a while because it took me 10 years to finish my freaking 4-year degree because I had to pay for it, you know? And, you know, I came from a family where we didn't have much. And so, you know, my mom was a widow, and she's like, oh, you want to go to college? Okay, pay for it. Because I have 3 jobs to work. You know what I'm saying? That was my reality.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually very, very happy that I still, because of the people in my life who cared for me and who nurtured me and gave me a reason to, you know, continue on, even though at times it seemed very bleak. But I put myself through community college, took out on those freaking loans that I'm still paying off.
All those loans.
And I have 12 more payments to make before.
Oh, we gonna pop bottles after the
Before Biden's loan forgiveness kicks
Better
in,
hurry up.
which I really think he needs to just, you know, wipe that slate clean. But, you know, I hear a lot of people just, you know, dogging on like the loan forgiveness program. But for many of us, that's our reality. That's the only way we could get into school. And I took out money to go to Solid Community College, to go finish up at the U. It took 10 years. You know, that's why I ran into you. We had classes together. And I did it. So, you know, 18-year-old me, hang in there. Hang in there.
I'm glad you hung in there.
Yeah.
Glad you hung in there. Ana Presi,
For me, I think that what I would tell myself is that, number one, you don't know everything. Because I think I was that person where I thought that I understood life, understood everything, and knew exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
look at Richie like, what?
You know, and so like really just slowing down and really understanding, you know, and understanding that you don't know everything, that you're still learning. And to be more grateful. I was very fortunate to be raised also with my grandparents, who were a big part of my upbringing. And I think that one of the things that later, as I, you know, they both passed away now, but there are a lot of things that as I think back and reflect on, that I wish I would have taken even more time to learn from them while they were around, you know. And so I would definitely do that and not try to pretend like I knew everything at the time and I knew how everything worked and I didn't need anybody to tell me how to do it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of somebody who knows everything, I know I apologize if I'm talking out of turn, but I know somebody in your life that has been on this earth a lot longer than I have, and you're going to celebrate his life. Would you mind sharing just maybe a nugget from your father that has sustained you through your life as you prepare to go celebrate his wonderful trip around the sun again? Please, any nugget from your 90-year-old father that has sustained you that we could share. And if it's in Tongan, you could say it in Tongan too.
There is so much, and so thank you. Yes, my father just turned 90 on Tuesday, and we will be celebrating it this weekend. But one of the things I will never forget that my father told me is that self-esteem is important, the way that you think about yourself, but self-respect is going to carry you through a lot of things, right? And so I will always remember that, because self-esteem is so much how people see you, but your self-respect is really how you see yourself.
My dad would get mad, but self-esteem, that's your own thing, okay? And I'm like, my feelings, that's your own thing. I'm like, okay, thank you, Dad. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, man, thank you for sharing that. Miss Clay, happy birthday. Happy 90th birthday. Hope you get cigars and all kinds of stuff for your birthday. Rich, is there somebody in your life like that you could share a nugget as we close off, something that has sustained you through your life?
There's been so many, but I would just say my mother, she was widowed at a young age and had to raise 7 kids. The oldest was 9, the youngest was 3 weeks when my father died. And we went through a lot of difficult challenges. And there was a time that I really resented her because of just the way that she had to be strong to raise her. And it wasn't until I turned 33, because that's how old she was when she died. Yeah. And I went to visit her, and it was the first time that I actually saw my mother as an adult, and that conversation that we had that day totally changed my life, and it made me understand her more and the challenges that she went through, even before having us kids. But she shared so much with me about the way she was raised that I never knew that about her. And so I saw her as not just mom, but a fully realized human being. And that to me was like the most, it changed our relationship, but it also was very empowering in that I think many of us, we need to be very forgiving and be more understanding of, give our parents some grace, because you hear this all the time. You hear people, from our generation who are very angry at the way they were raised, and my parents traumatized me or whatever. Give your parents grace. And if you haven't had that conversation with them about, how were you brought up? Go have that conversation with them, because it will help you to understand who they are. That helped me to really understand my mom and to love her more. And that I had no excuse to be even angry about anything, in the way that we were raised. And so I just want to say, I love my mom. She's a very beautiful person, and I'm very happy that we were able to have that moment, because I'm saddened for many people that I know who can't have that kind of moment of clarity and things that open up for you, so that you have that full capacity to love your parents the way you should.
See how lucky you guys are? Your students, this is what your students are being exposed to every day. This love, this mafana, this ofa, right? So it's part of the culture. It is part of the culture. So I gotta say thank you again for being brave and for leading our children and doing the hard work. Doing the work that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to show their work. Everybody wants to push a button and make it go away. But you guys are still doing the hard work. As we say goodbye, is there any activities or upcoming programs that the public could come in, and we want to invite them to come and join in and see what you guys got going on at Mana?
So I think at this point, we're heading to the end of the year. So we're preparing for graduations, but stay tuned for next year. We have a lot of things that will be coming up throughout the year that we would love people to attend. And
they should just keep a spotlight on Mana, what they're doing. Again, it's if I would dare say, if you want to get a culture in your life, you're just like the people in Hawaii are blessed with BYU Hawaii, just like Provo's blessed, same thing here. We need to look at Mana as a resource and as a blessing for our culture. That's all the time we got. We're going to say goodbye. We'll play one song as we hang out with our guests. Website, how do we get a hold of you guys one last time?
Yes, our website is themanaacademy.org. And if you are interested in enrolling, we are enrolling for the next school year, grades K through 8. So check it out. And also, our graduations here, they're pretty lit. And y'all need to look at that.
Oh, he said lit, not fire. Oh, he's in the know.
Because, we're one of those schools where we let our students wear all their cultural attire and regalia. And they bring it. It's one of the most beautiful moments here. And not just that, Buddha. They wear it during the ceremony, not after.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll play a song and then we'll say goodbye. Like we always say on Everyday People, if we can have one person, please be kind. All right? Have fun.
Yes, I'm looking this way and smiling.
Yeah. 1, 2. Yo, what up, y'all? Sending a massive shout out to everyone loving the song, loving the collaboration, and big respect to the legend and creators of this song right here. Curtis Mayfield in the impressions, to the techniques, to Dennis Brown, to the late great Heavy D. Rest in peace, we love you. Yeah. Listen.
Queen Majesty, may I speak to thee? So much I've longed to speak to you alone. Truly I agree, yeah, I'm not of your society. I'm not the king, just a minstrel, but my song to you I sing, though just a minstrel.
Hey.
Well, just so